Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it again on a Thursday and ready to get into this UFC Vegas 118 card we got coming up this weekend. You know, it's the lead up to the White House card. We're getting closer and closer, and I'm telling you, it just things just keep coming up with this White House card. Little stuff here and there, but I feel like we're definitely going to be in for a fun week of lead up as soon as this event is over and we roll right into the White House card, you know, the week of, and the week of is going to be fun, I think. 78 Northwest, what's up? Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a minute. Good evening, Big E and the GRP. Great to finally have some time to catch up with you for the evening and hear the latest. Right on. Yeah, appreciate you for coming back. Hope all is good, and yeah, glad to have you back. It's been a minute, but yeah, we're here ready to go. UFC Vegas 118, not a bad card. Last week I was kind of just like, I don't know about this card. The more and more I looked at it, the more and more I'm like, you know what? There's some potential on this card for some decent fights. This is one of those cards that might actually provide us with some good entertainment, depending on, you know, which way everyone decides to go with these fights, because, you know, with the main event, Belal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim, obviously we know Belal Muhammad has potential to make a fight somewhat boring, but also we've seen him, you know, have some decent times here and there. Obviously he was a former champion, or he is a former champion. He was a champion at one point in time, so he at least had some of some experience in being a champion. It was short-lived, but he's coming up against Gabriel Bonfim, who is one of those guys that's just, you know, kind of coming up right now. Is an exciting fighter and has potential to make it a quick and early night for Belal Muhammad if he slips up. But Belal's got that veteran experience, so we'll definitely get deeper into that. You know, we got a few other fights for us. Zaim is one of those guys that nobody, you know, talks a lot about, but he's on a big win streak right now, and we've seen some fireworks coming out of him, some highlight reel knockouts in the past. So Iwo Baranowski, we've seen him in all-out wars and quick finishes and everything else. So he's fighting Junior Tafa, and Junior Tafa is one of those guys that's either winning or losing, but it usually happens quickly and violently. So it could go either way for him. And with Baranowski, it's gonna be fun, I think. So Bryce Mitchell finally made his way back and is here to try to get a win after some downtime of not really being able to put any wins together. He's fighting a newer guy in Santiago Luna. And then Brendan Allen versus Edmund Shabazian in the co-main event. That's a decent matchup as well. So, you know, we got some good fights on that main card, and then obviously we'll get into the prelims as well. There's a few decent fights on the prelims. And yeah, that's what we got going on for UFC Vegas 118. What up, Antoine? I'm doing all right, man. I still got a little residual from all of the sickness, but I think it's all going away. Finally, I'm at the tail end of it, I think, which is good. Took a minute, but I mean, I'm happy that it's finally starting to go away. That's what I need. But other than that, we got a little bit of news coming out from, like I said, the White House card stuff. And did you catch D-Rod on Joe? Oh, no. You know what? I haven't got a chance to listen to it. I've heard some of the stories of him being in jail, but I know that he probably got in a little more detail and a little more in depth with Rogan, and I just haven't got a chance to. What up, Tyler Fish? I just haven't got a chance to listen to it yet, but that's definitely in my queue for the weekend. I was a bit busy this week at work, so a lot of what do you call it, interruptions that I wasn't able to listen all the way through most of my stuff. So Have you been talking about talking to your daughter? Yeah, I've been talking to her throughout the weeks. You know, and was there a card last week? I forgot. Tyler, yes, there was. That was the Macau card, the early one, and it actually wound up being a decent card. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching that or listening to that D-Rod JRE episode here soon, because I'm interested to hear everything he's got to say. So thanks for bringing that up, because that's a good reminder. I know I have it. Like I said, it's in my queue. Yeah, I remember you saying you weren't going to get up for that shit, Tyler, so I don't blame you. I didn't wind up getting up either, but that's because I was sick. I wanted to do the watch party, but it didn't get I wasn't able to get it done, which sucks. But watch party coming for the White House card, and the guys will be here. It'll be a good night. So by the way, Tyler, I heard that Paramount Plus is coming to Canada, so you're not going to have to pay you're not going to have to pay for pay-per-views anymore, and you're not going to have to find, shady ass links. So I don't know exactly when, but I heard that it's coming soon. So that's awesome for you guys, and then you can actually watch along and only be like a second behind, if at all, or a second ahead, because we seem to have been ahead. Yeah, I heard that I think today or yesterday, but I think it was on Helwani's show, either the Boys in the Back today or the Helwani show yesterday, but they said for sure it's coming to Canada. So Paramount Plus will be carrying UFC, and you'll get it all for free like we do. So what up, Infinity? Welcome back. Appreciate you for jumping in. And yeah, Tyler, hopefully that helps for you, man. Then you don't have to deal with all that other BS that you got to deal with when you don't have it on Paramount Plus like we do. And you didn't have to wait too long. It's been a few months, I get it, but all right, it's been 6 months, but hopefully it comes in there quickly, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. So yeah, what else we got going on? Not a whole lot, except what music you've been bumping? The song that keeps sticking in my head, and I know it's kind of been this way since it came out, but that T.I. joint, that Let 'Em Know song, holy fuck, man, that shit gets stuck in my head. And you know what I noticed? They're actually using it on Paramount Plus. I think it's Paramount Plus. They've been using it in promos. So yeah, that song is stuck in my head, man. I like T.I. as it is, but some of it's like hit or miss with some of his songs. But that song, that's his newest song, and holy shit, yeah, I like that song. So yeah, chilling, air frying some protein since it was 109 earlier. Oh damn, still 103 now. That's fucked. It's only 94 here, so you're almost 10 degrees higher than us. That's crazy. But it was also sprinkling around here and windy and shit earlier too. So yeah. But have you ever been to a UFC live event? Must be nice. Yeah, you that doesn't mean it's cool. It's just cooler than it is for you. Yeah, I've been to a couple UFC events live. And then the pay-per-view I missed that I talk about all the time. The reason why I don't like John Jones. But yeah, I've been to a couple, and in Phoenix, which is awesome. At least I got cooler equals cheaper. True. What you know about that 2006 T.I. song, man? Oh fuck yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites as well. What's going on? What's happening with you, man? All is good. Welcome back. Appreciate you for coming back, jumping in, interacting. As always, make sure you guys hit that like button while you're here. I'd appreciate that. That's always the minimal you could do besides interactions. And yeah, and if you're not subscribed, please do that as well. Hit that notification bell so you know when we go live, and or I put out any kind of content. And I know I'm still slacking on that on that little vlog type video I was gonna put out, but I have not had any time at all. I haven't had any time. It feels like since I got back, the only time I've had is when I was sick. So when I was sick is the only time I wasn't really doing a whole lot of anything, and that's because I was sick and on the couch. Unfortunately, tomorrow, I'm actually not going to work tomorrow, but the reason for that is I'm going to a funeral, and that's always crappy, man. You know what I mean? But the funeral is for the girl I spoke about a few weeks ago, my daughter's friend, that she grew up with, and yeah, the one that got her life taken by her ex-husband, which is sad. So no, it's actually in Sierra Vista, so I have to travel a little bit, Infinity, but they're doing it over there because she was military. So yeah, so I'm going to that tomorrow, and yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna go, honestly. It's just it's just kind of tough on that one, man. But also I wasn't sure about work and stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, my wife was gonna go no matter what. And yeah, I'm going with my wife and my daughter and one of their friends. My older daughter obviously can't be there, the one that was closest with her. She can't be there, obviously. She's all the way in North Carolina, but no, I appreciate it, Infinity. We got, I got a bunch of people going already. um, I wasn't actually, like I said, I wasn't planning on going, but I'm gonna go. So, yeah, we're just gonna roll up there and pay our respects and stuff. And I think actually we have a couple people, other people meeting us up there too that that knew her. So yeah, it's just yeah, it's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go, and I didn't know if work was gonna be crazy too. But yeah, I'm going back out of town for work next week as well. So I'll be doing I'll be doing the show from the shitty hotel room, but at least I'll be able to do it. And so that'll be next week. So this week, I mean, I get an extra day, but it's not for anything fun. But I gotta go pay my respects and stuff like that. So yeah, man. But other than that, yeah, everything else is fine. Just rolling along, waiting for this White House card. We just keep hearing about it, and it's coming up so quick that I'm getting a little excited just because it's definitely a different type of card. Obviously, 7 fights only, which is how many some of these prelims are for these fight nights, is 7 fights, and then we get a whole other card after that of 5 to 6 fights as well. So it's a different type of card. There's not I don't think they're breaking it up into prelims or early prelims or none of that. But yeah, it's on a Sunday as well. Like Tyler said, why is it on a fucking Sunday? Oh man. Um so thank you, Antoine. I appreciate that. By the way, excited for Green versus McKinney. I think it has potential to be good, but also Green has a bad habit of getting caught early sometimes, and we know how Terrence McKinney fights. He comes out fast and furious, and if King Green, takes his time, if King Green takes his time trying to get started, it's going to be a bad night for him. But he has been looking good lately. So, I mean, it's definitely got potential to be a decent card, or a decent fight. I'm sorry. I don't even remember what card it's on yet, but I heard about that matchup earlier. Did you lose anyone when you were growing up? Yeah, just like older family members that, I mean, I was close with some, but not super close. You know what I mean? The big, not that those didn't hit hard. It's just, I was younger and I was focusing on other things. It sounds bad, but family was just always like here and there. So it was tough losing them, and it sucked losing them. But then when you lose somebody that's in your life like almost every day or more than once a week, or somebody that's just super close to you, like one of my good friends that passed away that was hanging out with us all the time, and when you see somebody like constantly like that, that's tough. And that was one of the tougher ones that happened. And then yeah, I've just had people since then kind of here and there. I had a coworker pass away on the job, and that was rough because I'm the like lead guy, so I'm over here having to. He was in a different state. He was in New Mexico on a job, and yeah, he passed away. So that was tough, and that was some weird circumstances and different things to have to deal with that one. But also, he was the reason why I even got the job I have now, because he was the one that got me in. So yeah, I felt like I owed a lot to him, and he was one of those guys that was just he was a good dude too. So I knew him for a long time, and that sucked losing him as well. But yeah, and then you hear stuff like this from a kid that grew up, you know, hanging out at our household a lot. So that's why, you know, this stuff is tough. So it's always tough when you lose somebody. I don't really like going to funerals and stuff like that, but obviously I'd rather pay my respects than not. And you know, just get that final goodbye in there, I guess. But yeah, that's just how that goes. And then, you know, especially when they're younger and it's so senseless, man. So it's crazy. Yeah, it's a weird situation too, and it's rough, and it sucks when they get involved with people that aren't good, and then they pay the ultimate price, and that's a damn shame, especially when you're 25 years old. Like, damn, craziness. So anyway, to get out of that, let's take a sip here, because that's needed right now. And also, let's give a shout out to the sponsor, Noctane Smelling Salts. I've used this quite a bit lately because after being sick like I was, I still kind of had this like tired feeling. So as I'm getting through it, I've been a little tired. We have a job site that's like an hour and a half away, so I keep having to drive out of town. You know, obviously it's an hour and a half, but it's like it's driving, and it's not driving in like the city. So then you get tired. So yeah, definitely been using this a lot lately. It keeps you awake and alert. You shake it up to kind of get that effect going in there, that nice little, you know, I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, you get it going by shaking it up, and then we take a nice big whiff. So this is the most potent bottle with the red cap. I say it all the time, but you guys know the drill. Let me turn off this fan because any air will kind of shoo it away from, you don't get the full effect. So here we go. This is about to be rough, I feel like, but that's okay because I need it. Here we go. Oh yeah, this one is way rougher than the one I have in my bag. Oh my god. Woo! That is definitely a wake me up. This one is working damn good. Let's hope it's still working that good. You can see my eyes are watering. Let's hope it's working that good when we do the watch party, because it's always fun getting the reactions out of the guys while we're in here for that. Woo! That stuff will get you going though. It's a quick rush of adrenaline. Power lifters use it for that. I use it to stay awake and alert, like I said, while driving driving long distances when you're getting tired behind the wheel, and just different variations of why you can use it. You can learn more about it by scanning that QR code on the screen. There's a link in the description below, as always. So thank you, Noctane, for the sponsorship. I appreciate it. I love the product. I use it all the time, as you can see. It's not just because they sponsor me. It's because I actually use it. So yeah, check it out. Appreciate it, Noctane. Tony Robbins versus Gary V championship rounds, fight corner tier. You haven't asked for one in a while, but you're asking for one I don't know a whole lot about right now. I made an invention? Uh-oh. What's this, Tyler? I don't know if I should ask, but hit me with it. But yeah, let's get to it, man, because we got some stuff to talk about. Pocket. Oh my god. What the fuck are we doing?
Bruh. Damn, son.
I wasn't ready for that one. Holy shit. All right, man. Woo. Okay. All right, Tyler. You come up with some shit, man. Thanks for lightening the mood, I guess.
They're selling y'all wolf tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
All right, let's get to what we're here for. Holy shit, let's get going. Oh, I didn't change the name to that, but that's okay. We'll get started here with if you didn't hear, another good uplifting type story, Ben Askren. You know, I covered him for a while in his journey to getting better after he fell ill, wound up in the hospital on death's bed basically, and then had to get a double lung transplant. No one knew if he was gonna make it. He was in bad shape. He was in a coma. it was a bad situation, and it was so instant and tragic. And actually, if you remember, I talked about Kyle Busch passing away. He talked about it on Helwani's show, that pretty much it sounded to him like the same thing that happened to him is what happened to Kyle Busch. It's just he was lucky enough to have somebody around him, and maybe Kyle Busch didn't have anybody tend to him fast enough to save him. But Askren's back, man, and he is coincidentally enough, we're talking about this on the same week that Belal Muhammad is actually fighting in the main event for the UFC Fight Night, UFC Vegas 118 this weekend. But he's also going to be wrestling on RAF 11 July 18th, so next month, against Ben Askren. So Ben Askren is back, and he's going to wrestle. And it sounds like this is going to be a one-off for him. He doesn't want to, dive back into a whole career. He just wants to be able to wrestle one more time. And while I think that maybe he should wait a little while longer, especially if it's going to be a one-off, this is the time where he wants to do it. And, I back him on his decision. I mean, I'm happy for him that he's able to even get up and do this. So it puts Belal Muhammad in a tricky situation, though, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to lose to the guy who almost died and is just now getting back and making his way onto the mats for the first time since he almost passed away. But damn good question, 78 Northwest. But also, Belal, you don't want to beat the guy who almost died. You know what I'm saying? Like that's tough too. It's like, damn, you're gonna go in on the guy. But listen, they're competing. It's a legitimate competition. Who knows how it winds up, turning out. Is Askren gonna just make 100% sure Belal knows that he's good to go and to go all out, or is nothing gonna be said and Belal gonna take it easy on him just for the simple fact that he doesn't want to be that guy that manhandles? Not that I think that he could, but is Ben Askren 100%? Is he gonna have all the skills he had before? Because obviously he was an elite wrestler back in the day. And he's been a fighter, a champion in MMA, in one championship multiple times, and he's had a lot of accomplishments and accolades. And but yeah, once you have a life-threatening illness like he had, and then a major organ transplant, double organ transplant, to make his way back and want to compete full bore on in a wrestling competition is, he was the first person to be signed officially to Real American Freestyle Wrestling when they started this league. So he just never got a chance to wrestle because he got ill, and that's a tough thing. So for him, it's like he wants to be able to compete like he signed a contract to do. And it's awesome that he gets to do it. It's awesome that he made his way back to being healthy enough to do it. And I just hope it's not too soon. And I hope that it turns out well for him. I mean, obviously, I'm not the biggest Belal fan in the world. But like I said, it's going to be a tough one for him, because if he loses, people are going to clown on him. If he wins, people are going to hate him. So it's a lose-lose type of situation for Belal. But he's gracious enough to, take on the match, and we'll see how it goes. But it's badass to hear that Ben Askren is doing well, and he looks like himself again, and he's back to being a lot more healthy than we saw him in the past. So hopefully that keeps up. Hopefully there's nothing that holds him back from competing in July. And yeah, I wish him all the luck. That's awesome, and I'll definitely be watching to see what happens with him and how it goes down. So I just thought that was a cool thing to talk about, and the fact that he's actually coming back and wrestling again is awesome. So congrats to Ben Askren, good luck, and damn, Belal, I don't even know what to say, man. I guess good luck this weekend. We'll cross this bridge when we get there. But let's move on. We got some Zuffa Boxing happening this weekend. I just wanted to throw this one out there because we got Zuffa's 07 happening this weekend. Saturday as well, June 6th, going down in I think they're actually out of the Apex. I just don't remember exactly where they're fighting at. Let me double check. If you guys remember, tell me. Let's go Canada. Oh yeah, in the main event. Let's see. Zuffa 7 takes oh, it's in England. It's in England. Somewhere in England. There you go, Tyler. Yeah. So they're actually moving. I heard that they're gonna be moving around and doing events in different places instead of just the Apex. So that's a step in the right direction for Zuffa Boxing, considering it seemed like it seems like, you know, they're branching out of the Apex. You know, when you have boxing matches that are supposed to be taken seriously, and you're trying to compete with some of the biggest organizations out there in the boxing world, you know, it's tough when you're just doing it in a very small venue that doesn't have like a big gate, that doesn't allow for a lot of people. And while they say that, you know, the expansion of the Apex and all that is happening for now, you know, going out and expanding to other venues, other locations, other places in the world, that makes for, you know, being taken a little more seriously, I think, as far as for Zuffa in boxing. So I guess we'll see how it turns out. You know, like I said, I don't keep up with boxing as much as I do MMA. I wish I could. I wish I did, but I don't. So for now, you know, I don't know too many of these fighters, so I'm not gonna sit here and try to break it down like I do. But you know, it is interesting to watch how these boxing matches turn out. I don't sit and watch boxing regularly unless it's a big matchup with fighters that I actually know. But I have sat and watched a few of these Zuffa Boxing events, and I do like the way it goes down. I do, you know, I do like the fact that they're doing this outside of the rest of the organizations, or, you know, whatever you call them in boxing. But it's just interesting because I'm hearing all kinds of rumors about, you know, people as big as like Shakur Stevenson signing with Zuffa Boxing. You know, we've seen a few other big signings going on, including Conor Benn, and the contract extension with him. So Zuffa Boxing is trying to make moves and do big things, and the feud between Eddie Hearn and Dana White continues. There's still shit talking each other back and forth, and, you know, criticizing each other, but that's how that goes, and that's what makes it interesting. So Eddie Hearn's also been out there talking about how Dana White should be happy for Tom Aspinall, and if he's able to make more money than he's making in the UFC, the way that he told Eddie Hearn he should be happy for Conor Benn for leaving him and Matchroom and coming over to Zuffa to make more money. So Eddie Hearn's trying to make the point that Dana White's a hypocrite because he won't release Tom Aspinall, even though Tom Aspinall doesn't seem to be happy at the UFC. Obviously, he's been recovering from the eye injuries and the surgeries and all that, but he doesn't seem to be happy at the UFC. And he, you know, he's not making, according to Eddie Hearn, his contract and the money he's making with the UFC is super underwhelming and almost sickening, he said. And whether that's true or not, I don't know, but they should get in the ring. Oh yeah, they definitely been talking that shit about possibly running that fade in a ring though. But it sounds like Dana White's been dodging a little bit. Eddie Hearn says he's all in. We'll never get that. I highly doubt it, but it'd be interesting if we did. But either way, Tom Aspinall, you know, Eddie Hearn saying that he can have Tom Aspinall make anywhere from 5 to 10 times as much as he's making now if Dana White would release him from his contract. How he's gonna do that, I don't know, considering he's in the elite, you know, elite organization in MMA as we see it now. But you know, of course, you get those MMA one-offs. So far, it's been a one-off for MVP MMA. Of course, we heard that they got paid a decent amount, but you know, we don't know for sure exactly. That was just a disclosed pay. So what they're really getting paid, I don't know, but Eddie Hearn seems to think that he can get Tom Aspinall paid quite a bit more. Now, we know that Aspinall's dad had already spoke in the past, which might have sparked the bad blood between the UFC and Tom Aspinall. But he said that, you know, they want to fight their contract out with the UFC and move over to boxing. And with that, you know, Dana White seemed a little pissy about that one. So that kind of seemed to spark all of the bad blood and the, you know, bad feelings towards each other with Aspinall and the UFC. So is Eddie Hearn talking about bringing him over to boxing and giving him, you know, more money there? I mean, he's got to prove himself a little bit before he can do that, right? But, or is he saying that he just knows that he can give Aspinall way more money regardless of his experience in boxing and get him fights that would make him that kind of money? I don't know, but that's what Eddie Hearn's saying. You know, the UFC ain't gonna let him go until he fulfills his contract, and they're gonna make it difficult for him to do that as well. So I think we just need to see Tom Aspinall get back in there. If he loses, guess what? I guarantee that'll make it easier for him to get out of his contract, or, you know, have him get through his fights, you know, to fight out his contract. One way or another, something can happen. But I feel like he should just get back in the cage, defend that title. Actually, it'll be unifying that title after next week's White House card, because we have the interim championship coming up with Alex Pereira and Cyril Gahn. So whoever wins that, lose on purpose. Well, that could be, you know, I mean, sure he could, but might not be the best way to go. But he's got to unify that title anyway. So I feel like let's just do that. See where you go from there, and maybe you get back in the good graces with the UFC. You know, make your way to doing what you want to do, which is fight out that contract. I guess you might not ever get back in the good graces with the UFC unless you re-sign and they don't have to let him go like he wants, because they're not going to make it easy for him, that's for sure. So there's a bunch of different things going on with that situation, but, you know, that all has to do with boxing. Considering Dana White's now wrapped up in this Zuffa Boxing thing, it seems to be his priority. And you know, he's got this beef with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn's now representing Tom Aspinall. So it's a tricky situation. It's an interesting situation, and I'm actually hopefully, you know, or I'm what I should say is we hopefully can see Tom Aspinall fight again in the cage, but I just want to see him get well, so then something can actually happen, you know what I mean? But I think we'll get some real movement after we find out what happens at this White House card with the interim championship. So moving on, and speaking of the White House, we got some pictures released of the actual structure, what they're calling, I think they're calling it like the claw or something like that. But yeah, this is the structure that the cage is going to be under. So, you know, this is obviously just a, you know, far out view from it, but as you can see, the structure's been is almost completed, and it's riddled with red, white, and blue, looking like the flag. You know, we got the stars, the stripes. It actually looks pretty fucking cool, honestly. And it's huge. As you can see, it reaches far above the White House itself. And here's a couple other pictures, and obviously these aren't renderings, these are the actual pictures from the actual structure now that it's been, you know, erected. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we're gonna have a cover. It's obviously gonna be just a cover from directly above, but it is a cover. That's where all the lights are gonna be. And obviously you can see in that top picture a little bit, I know it's kind of far out, but you can see the stands that have been starting to be built right in front of it. And yeah, of course, there's a lot going on with this, a lot of news happening and swirling around the White House event, between, you know, how good it's going to be, who's going to win that main event, obviously, because it's Ilya and Justin. They, you know, Justin's been talking shit to Sean Strickland because Sean Strickland says he got banned from going. Whether that means he actually got banned, or that just means that they're not gonna, you know, be giving out tickets to all the fighters that would normally just show up for a fight. He is their only American champion at the moment for the men's divisions. So it's kind of weird that they wouldn't want him to be there, but also he's kind of a liability because he runs off at the mouth and he says a lot of crazy shit. And he's been saying a lot of crazy shit about the White House. Easton, what's going on? Welcome in. We'll just call you Easton. But welcome in. Appreciate you for jumping in. Thanks for interacting. Just talking about this White House card and the structure that they made for covering the Dana scared of Ari Emanuel and Big Young. Do you think this will be a top 5 event? Yes. I do think it's going to be a top 5 event. I think that the fact that we're actually getting this event already puts it up there in bro, I can never get you. Yeah, man, I've been got too many times. I'll tell you that right now. And I don't like the things I've been tricked into saying. So you might catch me slipping one day, but have fun trying till then. Thanks for being cool about it though, man, because you know some people try so hard that it's annoying. But it's hilarious. It makes me laugh, don't get me wrong at all. It's funny as hell, so I appreciate it. But yeah, so you know, Sean Strickland, listen, his problem is that he just says, he runs off at the mouth and then he regrets it. And you know he regrets it. He regrets it for the simple fact that he always comes back and starts either apologizing or making excuses for what he's saying. You know, before we used to see him as the guy that would say what he was on his mind and just unapologetic, right? And polarizing. But now it's like he's polarizing, but he's also apologizing, and it's just weird. I've never been to DC, Antoine. Have you? I've never been there. It'd be cool to go there. It'd be cool to see the structure in real life, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's gonna, I'm still a little bit worried about the event. You know, there's gonna, regardless of whether anything happens at the White House itself or you know, at the Ellipse, where there's gonna be like hundreds of thousands of people apparently for the fan fest and whatever else they're doing over there. So I just really hope that nothing bad happens, and that's just because, you know, so many bad things have happened as of late over the past couple years. Attempts on the president, and people, you know, doing crazy shit outside of the White House as it is. There's just been so much going on. So I'm really hoping, you know, and then we got this war going on as well. So yeah, I really hope that everything goes off without a hitch and there's no problems. No massive problems, and if there are, hopefully we don't hear about it for the simple fact that they thwarted any, you know, any bullshit without anybody knowing, because that kind of shit happens all the time. And maybe we learn sometime down the road, because you know Dana White likes to reveal these things that have happened in the background. He'll always talk about it at some point in time. So if anything goes wrong or anything is crazy that we don't know about right off the bat, we might hear about it somewhere down the road. And there's going to be a lot of people involved in all of this, so you know, someone might open up and talk about it. But I'm just I'm excited for the event. I'm just hoping that everything is okay over there, just because the world is crazy right now, man. So it's just something that I think about, that I've thought about since they announced this and were, you know, and proved that they were serious about doing it. So I just hope everything is good. Other than that though, you know, as far as everything else goes, yeah, there's other controversies swirling around it. Oh, the funny thing about, you know, they said there's going to be troops there, which I don't know how long you guys have been following MMA, watching the UFC. Obviously we've talked about it in the past, but I don't remember how long everyone's been around. But back in the day, they used to have fights for the troops where they would go to and set up cages on bases. And you come in hot like that, bro. What the fuck, man? Holy shit. He's like,
surprise, motherfucker.
He just comes in with that. Anyway, fight for the troops back in the day was awesome. Watching the troops all get crazy in the background and them just reacting to the fights, it was awesome, man. It was actually some of the cooler like events that they had back in the day. I'm here now. Would you attend the card, all expenses paid? Fuck yeah, I would. We boycott in the UFC, right? Who's crazier? Between you and Tua, Tyler? Is that what you're asking? Do you have any family members that serve Big E? Yeah, I did. I did. I'm not real close with a lot of my family, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I just can't think off the top of my head who or how close, but no, your audience too. Yeah, Tua is a troll. I know that, so that's why I just laugh at it. It's all good. You know, I know what lines Tua and Tyler are on. I've learned, but you know, yeah, it's just I have more friends than anything. Like Josh, who's been in here. He's a vet. He was in the Navy. He did his 4 years and got out, but he was in the Navy. I have a bunch of other friends that have served. So yeah, it was, you know, yeah. So I mean, I have more friends than anything, but I know some of my family members did. I just don't remember off the top of my head who. So anyway, yeah, the fight for the troops was badass back in the day. The fighters would put out, you know, would put up good fights and just really make it exciting. So it was cool to watch those kinds of environments back in the day. And but apparently they're putting stipulations on what, you know, who gets to attend for the military. They have to like make a certain size and weight and stuff. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, there's some kind of measurements that they have to, just basically saying that they're fit. They don't want any like guys that look like me out there apparently. But yeah, it's a weird thing. But and then apparently they're saying that they have to actually be you know, UFC fans. So that's pretty interesting. I would just think that their service makes them available for doing this, because if they're, you know, especially with the war going on, it's like you should just be showing that you appreciate the military in general. But who knows? Yeah, like 4,000 people in attendance. Yeah, but that's all going to be handpicked people pretty much. Oh shit, I missed this. Antoine,
Smoke
here you go.
Weed every day.
80% white people.
Damn, son.
You're probably not wrong though. Shit. How do you feel about people not giving Justin a chance? It's expected, man. Ilya's just a killer. And but you know, this is something there's a guy at work that works in a different department. I don't think I could deal with the 85,000 people or whatever at the fan fest thing. DC's a chocolate city.
Hey, listen, you guys.
Oh shit. So what was I saying? Man, I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, the 85,000 people or whatever at the watch party thing. Yeah, that's just a lot of people, man. And in a location like this, I don't know, man. It seems like a rough thing to try to deal with. And then, like I said, I'm just worried that some shit's gonna go down, especially being in DC itself. So who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, I just think that Justin not being given a chance. That's what I was talking about. Ilya is I was saying there's a guy at work that works in a different department. He saw that I have my badge on a UFC lanyard, right? So sometimes people see that and be like, oh, you like UFC? And I'll be like, yeah. We talk about it a little bit depending on how deep into MMA and UFC they are. I'll mention the podcast if they don't seem that interested or whatever, you know. I don't mention it to everybody just because I don't want to be that try hard, just like constantly talking about it. But I pick and choose. So this guy actually does jujitsu. He's an older guy, but but he's cool as hell. And turns out he's from North Carolina, so had a lot to talk to him about that with my daughter moving over there. But he was talking to me about it and was like, yeah, I don't see how Justin wins at all. And I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing. This is about the time that Ilya could lose, because when everybody seems to be counting out the opponent, like in the fashion that everyone's counting out Justin right now. Now I know it has, because of the implications, like the you're putting the American out there to just get dominated and to lose, even though it's at the White House card. I know a lot of that has to do with it, the entirety of the event being such a big event. I know that has a lot to do with it too. But when people are counting someone out as much as they're counting out Justin Gaethje, these are the times that somebody like Ilya could actually lose, because it's almost like it's so much overlooking of the opponent, that if he does that as well as everyone else out there, those are the times that a mistake is made. And Justin Gaethje has the kind of power that can end somebody quickly and put their lights out in the cage. And I don't mean end them in the way that it sounded. It just mean end the night with a knockout in the cage. So it's your passion. There's nothing wrong. Oh no, for sure, man. You know what I mean? But I just don't want to be that annoying guy. So it's like I just kind of pick and choose a little bit. Like, this is the hardest hitter Ilya has ever faced. It might be. Ilya Topuria is an anime villain. What a wild story it would be for him to win against an undefeated Ilya and finally become undisputed champion, and at the White House of all places, when it's an American versus whatever you want to call him, from Spain, from Georgia, wherever he's from. Regardless, he's not an American. So for the American to pull out the upset in the underdog story, you want to talk about cinema. That's what the fuck this will be. Yeah, Spaniard. Yeah, but he was born in Georgia, so that's why I say whatever you want to call him. Yeah, so this is the time, and something like that, those kinds of things that could light a fire under Justin Gaethje's ass, even though he's really not that type. He's gonna go out there and fight his fight and see what happens in the cage, and then he's gonna go from there. That's kind of how he fights. Yeah, it would be a movie for sure. So yeah, it's just one of those days. It's one of those times when Ilya could slip up, and Justin Gaethje could be the guy that could take him out. But Ilya is definitely, obviously, one of the best fighters out right now. He's been super dominant, and no one's been able to get the best of him. Yeah, obviously Jai Herbert in one of his early fights was able to knock him down, but since then he's been pretty untouchable in the manner of anything that would be, a threat to his fight. Since he got knocked down by Jai Herbert. So, and if he loses, he's gonna retire 100%. You talking about Ilya? I don't know, man. I don't know if he does. That's what makes the White House card so crazy. There's also hella storylines. Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of people at first said, why Ilya versus Justin? That just seems like a mismatch and blah blah blah. But Justin's obviously the interim champion, and Ilya is the undisputed, so that makes all the sense in the world. It's just, the matchup may not be the best, but like I said, Justin has that one punch knockout possibility. So yeah, that's what makes it interesting. And that's, if it goes down like everybody thinks it's gonna go down, then it might still be an exciting, end to the show. But if it goes in the way of Justin getting the win, that's gonna be even crazier. So shit, seeing how Ilya carries himself, though, he actually could. Yeah, Carlos Condit, man. Yeah, so yeah, that's really about it about that. I just wanted to show the progress of the claw, or whatever they're calling this thing, and the fact that it's actually up there, man. It's nuts to see. I like the design, though. It's pretty cool. The fact that they have the flag on it and all that, the stars and the stripes. Have I decided on my White House meal yet? No, I haven't even thought about it, but I still got a week left to think, so we'll see. And also, the time is finally released. For me, it's going to be at 5 p.m. So it's going to be at 5 p.m. and that's going to be the start time. That's all it shows is 5 p.m. So which means we're not getting, you know, there's no prelims. It's going to be the 7 fights straight up, and it starts at 5 p.m. So we'll be doing the watch party, like I said, and you know, it's on Sunday, so don't forget about that. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. My take on Zuffa. Oh, I was just talking about boxing in general, really, with that one. I don't really have much to go on for this Zuffa match. It's just, you know, wanted to throw it out there just so everyone's aware that there's a Zuffa boxing match coming up on Saturday. And yeah, also, if you did serve, what branch would you have chosen? I have no idea. Military is not my thing, so I don't even know. I never really put much thought into it. I still can't believe this is really happening. Yeah, I know. I can't either, but that's kind of why I wanted to show these pictures, because this kind of makes it more real. You know, we saw the renderings, the AI renderings and all that shit, but to see it really actually there now is crazy. So yeah, it should be interesting. But enough of the White House card. I think the Air Force would have been cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I know people that have been in the Air Force and stuff like that, so yeah, I don't know. I just never really put much thought into it. All right, let's get to this UFC Vegas 118 card. We got Belal Muhammad, as I mentioned earlier, versus Gabriel Bonfim. So we got a former champion in Belal Muhammad, the veteran, going up against Bonfim, who's just kind of been making a splash here and there. Even the name itself, the Air Force. Yeah, with Bonfim just kind of coming in, you know, he's had some highlight reel finishes. You know, he beat Randy Brown in his last fight, getting a win bonus as well. He's got a bonus in 2 of his last 3 fights, and he's on a decent win streak, a 4-fight win streak. So even in his last loss, he got a bonus for the fight of the night. So Bonfim on a real run. Yeah, I mean, it's only 4 fights, but there's only 1 loss in between there, and then there's a, you know, he's got what, 6 wins in the UFC. He's 6-1. So yeah, I mean, he's doing well, and he's got a lot of potential, but I do worry about his cardio a little bit. So that's the only thing I'm a little bit worried about. And we know Belal can maintain a decent, you know, pace all the way through the fight. So yeah, that loss was to Nicholas Dalby too, which is kind of weird. Belal first round finish. So yeah, it's just one of those things. So of course we'll dive into that as soon as we get to it. We're gonna start with the main card, the first fight of the main card, and get to this main event, as we've been doing. Seems to be working out pretty good. So yeah, let's get to this first matchup, and that is, I talked about it a little bit earlier, Iwo Baranowski versus Junior Tafa. And something I learned earlier, shout out to Mike Talks, he was talking about Baranowski having good ground game that people really haven't seen yet, and that he was a high-level judoka as well. Yeah, he learned from that Dalby loss. Yeah, for sure, because I mean, he's come back and won 4 in a row, so definitely, and he got a fight of the night bonus for that one, so it's not like he was completely out of it. It was obviously a decent fight. So but it's just weird that Nicholas Dalby was the only guy to beat him so far. Iwo first round finish, probably a good bet, especially with the way that Tafa fights as well. But like I was saying, Mike, he's been on the show before, and he does you know, breakdowns of his own and stuff, but he does a lot of betting content too. So but yeah, he was talking about, and I didn't really know that Baranowski was you know, as deep into that as he was talking about, so that's cool. So he's definitely an all-around fighter, but all we've seen out of him is first round finishes. Basically, he's 8-0, coming from the Contender Series where he had a crazy fight against ironically enough, a guy named Muhammad Ali, but he beat him in 20 seconds in the first round. So he's had 2 fights since then. So he's on a 2-fight win streak, but technically an 8-fight win streak because he's 8-0. But in the UFC, he's been on a 2-fight win streak. He's gotten first round finishes out of both those fights, finishing them with TKOs, and getting performance of the night bonuses for both of those fights as well. So yeah, this is Iwo comes out ready to fight and ready to, you know, fast and furious. He's ready to go early and he gets it going fast. He's 2-0 in the UFC, 6-0 by KO TKO, 2-0 by sub, no decisions. And like he said on that win streak, do you think MVP should start sanctioning men versus women fights? Nah, man, I don't know that we'll ever see anything like that in a true, like, legitimate organization. I don't think we'll ever see that. But you can go watch some of these crazy circus fights from you know, from overseas, and there's already been some of those. I would pay to see Diaz versus Rousey. Well, they wouldn't fight each other anyway because they're good friends, but maybe like a jiu-jitsu match or something. But yeah, Junior Tafa is his opponent. He's coming in at 7-5 in MMA and 3-5 in the UFC. Not a great record there. He's had, you know, had some bad luck, but he is coming off a win. He won his last fight against Kevin Christian, TKO in the first round as well. So that's one thing about both these guys, is that they can get stuff done early in the first round or early in the fight. And yeah, Tafa's also 7-1 by KO TKO, 0-3 by sub, which is not good for him, because if he was as good as they're saying on the ground, he's going to be in trouble there. And as we can see, Baranowski's got 2 wins by sub and never lost there. And then he's 0-1 by decision. So Tafa really only wins by, you know, finishing it on the feet, and otherwise he's losing at this point according to his record. So that's something to look out for if you're, you know, trying to bet on this fight or trying to make a pick. Iwo Baranowski, like I said, on a 4-fight win streak, all first round finishes, or on a 2-fight win streak, I'm sorry, all first round finishes with bonuses as well. And Tafa last win was, or last fight was a win by TKO as well in the first round. Before that, he lost in the second round to Billy Alencano by sub, lost to Tugos by submission in the second round as well. So yeah, he's been on a lose win kind of streak. So if he keeps up with that kind of pattern, he's gonna lose this one regardless. And I think Iwo Baranowski is the type of dude that can finish him on the feet. And if not, as we learned recently, he can take him down and submit him as well. So I think either way, Iwo Baranowski is gonna be the favorite here, and according to Tapology, he actually is the favorite by minus 260, while Tafa is a plus 215 underdog. So yeah, that should be an interesting fight. I feel like don't get up to pee in the middle of that first round, because who knows if we'll get out of it. It's almost guaranteed not to. Let's move on to Bryce Mitchell versus Santiago Luna. This is happening in the bantamweight division. Bryce Mitchell, as we know, had, you know, fell in some rough times there for a little bit, but he's back in the win column. He's 18-3 overall, 9-3 in the UFC, 1-1 by KO TKO, 9-2 by sub, because obviously he's great on the ground. Bryce Mitchell first round sub, yeah, I mean, that there's definitely potential for that. And then he's 8-0 by decision as well, so he's never lost a fight by decision when it goes the distance. But and he's coming off a win, and he's going against Santiago Luna, who, you know, younger guy at 21 years old. He's 8-0, 2-0 in the UFC, 3-0 by KO TKO, 4-0 by sub, which is interesting, and then 1-0 by decision. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Obviously it's more than that, but in the UFC he's on a 2-fight win streak. Bryce Mitchell's coming off a win over who is it? Oh, Said Nurmagomedov. He got the unanimous decision win. You want Bryce to win, Antoine? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Bryce is one of those guys that's just kind of like, I liked him at first. I liked him because he's a goofy white boy, but yet he can rap, which is kind of crazy. And his nickname is Thug Nasty. And he was just kind of funny before, but he took a turn for this conspiracy shit and just being like crazy religious, you know what I mean? Like religious in the way that it's just like he says some crazy shit that has to do with religion, and I'm just like, bro, he actually can rap. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's weird. Luna was going to wrestle at Arizona State University, but he chose to fight instead. Dark Kansas. Yeah, so before that, he lost to submission to Jean Silva, and then beat Kron Gracie by TKO, which was crazy because he just kept taking him down, and Kron just kept trying to, you know, jump guard and shit like that. And then finally Mitchell made him pay for that, and one of the times he tried to jump guard, he just threw him down and elbowed the shit out of him on the ground and TKO'd him. And then he had that nasty loss to Josh Emmett where, I mean, it damn near looked like Emmett killed him, which was crazy. That knockout was insane. He's been on a win-loss type streak since he lost to Ilya Topuria, and he lost to him by submission as well. But yeah, so this, I mean, it should be an interesting fight. Luna's undefeated, so he's definitely going to be fighting hard to keep that undefeated record. There's nothing saying that he can't beat Bryce Mitchell, considering the way that Mitchell's been fighting. He got a win in his last fight, and his record in the past few years has been win-loss. So if he keeps on that pattern, he's due to lose. And with an undefeated guy coming in, it's a possibility. In his first fight in the UFC for Luna, he beat Quang Lee by TKO in the first round and got a performance of the night bonus. In his second fight, his last fight, it was against Angel Pacheco. He got a unanimous decision win there. And yeah, he's got a good mix up of submissions and TKOs, more TKOs than anything lately. So it's going to be an interesting fight. You know, if he tries to keep it standing, we'll see how Bryce Mitchell responds to that. I'm sure, you know, he'll be fine. He's a vet. He's seen plenty of strikers come after him. And, you know, he's gotten wins over strikers as well. But since Luna has skills on the ground and has submission wins, never been finished on the ground either, it could turn into an interesting, you know, chess match on the ground. So we'll see. Could be a decent fight for sure. Next up, we got Faraz Zayam, I think. I'm mixing up letters here. Versus Tom Nolan. Zayam, like I said, has you know, some decent finishes in the past. He's 8-2 in the UFC, 18-4 overall, 6-0 by KO TKO, 5-3 by sub, 7-1 by decision. He's on a 6-fight win streak, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know that anybody that thinks of Zayam like that is thinking that he's on a 6-fight win streak, because it didn't even occur to me. But he's fighting Tom Nolan, who's on a 4-fight win streak of his own. He's 10-1 overall, 4-1 in the UFC, 5-1 by KO TKO, 1-0 by sub, 1-0 by 4-0 by decision. So, you know, he's only been finished once, and it was on the feet. And with Zayam being a pretty good striker at that, I mean, that could be trouble for him. But he mixes it up well. He's got finishes throughout the all the categories there for Zayam. And then Tom Nolan, like I said, on that 4-fight win streak. Let's look at Zayam and what he's done. His 6-fight win streak consists of wins over Nazim Sadikov in his last fight, a TKO in the second round, Mike Davis decision, Matt Frivola TKO. That was that nasty knee, as you can see in that top picture, that he knocked out Frivola with. He got a performance of the night bonus on that one. Claudio Puelles, he got a split decision win. Jai Herbert beat him by unanimous decision, and Mikel Fiaglak, he beat by unanimous decision as well. His last loss was to Terrence McKinney by submission back in the first round in 2022. Zayam first round finish. Nolan moves up to 170 after loss. Okay, Sadikov win was dope. Mike Davis is amazing. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I was like, Mike Davis, what are you saying? My bad. I completely skipped over that one. But yeah, his second loss in the UFC was to Don Madge by decision. That was his first fight in the UFC. He came back and beat Jamie Malarkey and Luigi Van der Omni, both by decision too. So he's on a crazy win streak right now, 6-fight win streak. Most of those are by decision, but 2 very big wins by TKO. And yeah, he's an exciting fighter when he's able to get in there and let the striking loose. But like I said, Tom Nolan on a 4-fight win streak of his own. His last win was a sub over Charlie Campbell in the first round by rear naked choke. He got a performance of the night bonus on that one. And then Slava Claus, he beat by unanimous decision. Alex Reyes by unanimous decision. And then Victor Martinez by TKO. His loss was to Nicholas Moda by TKO in the first round. I think Faraz is going to be top 10 by the middle of 2027. Man, if he keeps on this record, he definitely could be. So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting matchup between these two. Obviously, you know, with the win streaks, you know, that's what makes it interesting too, because they're both on decent win streaks. Zaim having a 6-fight win streak and Nolan having a 4. It just they're both going to be fighting to keep those win streaks alive. And Zaim is looks like he's what was I gonna say? Oh man, I completely lost. Yeah, he's super long, and as you can, you know, he's just lanky. You can see how he's got, like, you know, twigs for legs and arms, but he definitely knows how to use them. He manages the distance well, and you know, he's shown a lot of improvement in his finishing ability and stuff like that. So you know, I think he's definitely dangerous on the feet, but you know, Nolan is dangerous in his own right. You know, he's 6'3", so it's not like he's too far behind there. He's not going to be the smaller guy for the most part, but you know, he's aggressive, and he's kind of a finisher. So you know, he's still early in the UFC, but he's definitely, you know, got potential. And with this 4-fight win streak, if he beats somebody like Zaim, he's gonna get some decent competition up next. So I think yeah, I think it's kind of a toss-up for me on this one. I'm not sure, but Zaim is -300 favorite, and Nolan is a +245 underdog. So that's interesting that Zaim is that much of a favorite, but it's probably just because of the, you know, the win streak and the way that he's beaten some of these guys. So yeah, I think it's an important one between these two guys, just because of their win streaks that they both have, and where they both want to go. Zaim is you know, higher up in the rankings, and you know, he's kind of more proven and more polished than Nolan, but Nolan is aggressive, like I said earlier, and definitely has potential to, you know, be a big finisher. So this could be an exciting fight, and you know, it's got potential. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And that brings us over to the co-main event. That's Brendan Allen versus Edmund Shabazian. Brendan Allen, 26-7 overall, 14-4 in the UFC. He's 6-2 by KO TKO, 14-1 by submissions, and then 6-4 by decision. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Shabazian's on a 3-fight win streak. He's 2-1 by decision, 1-1 by sub, 13-3 by KO TKO, 9-5 in the UFC, and 16-5 overall. Now you can see Shabazian definitely has double digits, and you know, so it's a lot of wins by KO TKO, and Brendan Allen's got the double digits in submissions. So Shabazian's got more losses by KO TKO, but you know, Allen's got more losses by decision, really. So yeah, it's kind of a toss-up with those big numbers in those two different categories as to where this fight's going to take place. But you know, Brendan Allen's down the scrap as well. He's won some of, you know, the biggest fights of his career lately. He's got wins over Marvin Vettori, Rainier de Ritter, and Paulo Costa. So, you know, and he's definitely a dangerous grappler, you know, with those 14 submission wins. Shabazian, he's trying, you know, he kind of had some hype behind him early on when he started in the UFC, and then he kind of fell off a little bit, but he's trying to recapture all that hype and get some, you know, momentum behind him. Allen, first round finish. Yeah. Allen is the Ellen is the favorite, -230. Shabazian is a +175 underdog, so not that big of a gap between them. But yeah, Ellen's definitely the favorite. Yeah, he's got, you know, that 3-fight win streak, and you know, we've seen him definitely get big finishes, but Allen's wrestling and submission game is just superior, and you know, we'll just see if he can get Shabazian down. Shabazian's like pretty explosive and fights at a decent pace in the first couple rounds. You know, he might tire out after that, so that's when Allen can take advantage if he lands that, you know, if he lasts that long, I should say. So I think if Shabazian can keep it on the feet, he's got a better chance. But if Brendan Allen gets him to the ground, I mean, Allen's decent on the feet as well, but if Allen gets him to the ground, I think it's kind of over with for Shabazian. So yeah, it's just it's one of those, just Shabazian's got to keep it on the feet, otherwise it's probably going to be over for him quickly. So Brendan Allen is on a streak too, so he's ranked number 5, it looks like, or number 4. So yeah, and he's got some big wins as of late, and that's what he's really going to be rolling off of, that momentum. Rainier de Ritter and Marvin Vettori were his last 2. He did lose to Fluffy Hernandez and Nasruddin Imavov, but he beat Chris Curtis, Paul Craig, Bruno Silva. I mean, he's got a lot of big wins over a lot of big names, so you know, he's definitely got a lot of momentum behind him, and he's got a lot of bonuses too, so that can come into play. Bonuses on, you know, fight of the night bonuses and performance of the night bonuses with a lot of his submissions. So, but Shabazian, did you ever think Edmund Tavardian was a good coach? No, I kind of knew he was a douche from the get-go. I hated his coaching style, bad matchmaking. Yeah, I just thought he was a dumbass from the get-go. I hated the way he carried himself, and I hated the way that he thought like that Ronda was the greatest thing to ever, you know, hit combat sports. And while she was great, it wasn't like it, you know, she did a lot. She's history making, all that, pioneer, all that shit, whatever you want to call it, trailblazer. But you know, he acted like she was the end all be all of everything, and it was, you know, it was a little bit dramatic. So but yeah, Shabazian is worthy of bonuses as well. He's got a few in there, but on the 3-fight win streak, he beat Andre Muniz by TKO in the first round, Andre Petrosky by unanimous decision, and Dylan Budka by TKO in the first round, where he got a performance of the night bonus there. His last loss was by submission, and that was to Gerald Mearshart. GM3, as we know, is a great submission artist as well, so that's bad news for Shabazian. I don't know, man. This is going to be tough for him. He's got to get it done early, otherwise it's going to wind up on the ground, and Allen's going to get the best of him. So we'll see how that one shapes out, but that brings us over to the main event. Belal Muhammad, the former champion, versus Gabriel Bonfim, the younger up-and-comer who's on a streak right now. Belal, unfortunately for him, he's on a 2-fight losing streak, but he's 15-5 in the UFC, 5-1 by KO TKO, 1-0 by sub, 18-4 by decision. We know how most of his fights go. But look at Bonfim, 6-1 in the UFC, 4-1 by KO TKO, 13-0 by sub, and 2-0 by decision. 13-0 by sub is crazy. But Belal's never been subbed. That's interesting, because the way that Bonfim wins the most is by submission. But we've seen him, pop off with some crazy striking, some crazy knees and stuff like that in the past as well. So he could definitely hurt Belal. Belal's not the easiest guy to get out of there. He's only lost once by KO TKO. Most of his losses have come by decision, but his only other loss outside of a decision has come by KO TKO. So like I said, he's not easy to finish, but when it comes down to it, if Bonfim can catch one of those flying knees or something on Belal like he has in the past, I think against, who was it? It was Man, who was that he caught that crazy flying knee on? I don't even remember, but I remember him. I don't remember. Shit. Anyway, TKO, clinch knee. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. I could have swore he had. Maybe it wasn't a finish. That was why. Anyway, yeah, Bonfim can be explosive as well. So that could be bad news for Belal early on. But I think Bonfim has a problem with possibly gassing later in the rounds. And this is a 5-round fight. So I got Bonfim. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of leaning that way too. But I mean, Belal's due for a win. He's going to be desperate to get out of that losing column. So I'm not sure. Could Bonfim challenge for the belt by the end of the year? I don't know about the end of the year, but maybe soon. Belal is the slight favorite at -150, while Bonfim is the +125 underdog. So, I mean, it's kind of a crossroads type fight, right? Because Belal being the former champion, you know, being on a 2-fight skid, and, you know, he lost to Jack Della and he lost to Ian Machado Gary. So those are two tough opponents, high level elite competition there. But Bonfim is, you know, just rising contender right now. Ranked at number 11, is he? 15? 11? I don't know. One says 15, one says 11. Anyway, riding a 4-fight win streak and you know, trying to get the biggest win of his career at this point, beating a former champion. So, you know, Belal's gonna come out with the same plan as always, and what's got him to where he is now. I know it hasn't worked for him in the past couple fights, but like I said, those were the guy that took his belt from him and the guy who's going to be fighting for the belt in the near future, pretty soon, really, I'm sure. So, and that's Ian Machado Gary. So Belal's, you know, he puts the pressure, the relentless pressure on. He's got great cardio. The wrestling is always there, and he makes his opponents work like every second of the fight, pretty much. So, you know, he's nearly 38 years old though, and it's like, how long is he going to be able to compete at that level and stay with that kind of a pace and have that style of fight for him work for him at that age, you know? And then having a younger guy that's almost 10 years younger than him come in and put a lot of pressure on him early, that could wear on him quickly, and Bonfim could find an opening and be able to catch Belal to either, you know, get him to the ground, knock him down and sub him, or knock him out completely. Otherwise, he's got to find a way to get Belal down, but Belal's got that good wrestling, like I said. So that's what, you know, that's what makes it tough for Bonfim. And Belal's got good cardio, and Bonfim, I feel like, gasses when he gets later in the round. So yeah, he's got wins over Randy Brown, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Chaos Williams. He's dangerous everywhere. The submission skills are elite, and like I said, he's got knockout power, and his wrestling's been improving lately too. But do you think he's still in his prime at 38, seeing how he was just champion? I don't know if he's still in his prime. I kind of want to see who's younger, 38, Belal or Pineda. I think Alex Pineda's, I think they're the same age, actually. I think Belal's going to be 38 soon, and I think Pineda's like, fuck, I don't know. Let me double check. Alex. Yeah, Pineda's 38. So, yeah, they're pretty much the same age, which is kind of crazy. But it just, you know, it's the mileage, it's the fight style. You know, Pineda's got the power. A lot of his fights haven't been, you know, like long wars or anything like that. Belal's been involved. You look at those 18 wins by decision, which means he's got a lot of time in that cage, which means a lot of punishment too, if he, you know, because you're gonna take damage regardless. Also, you see Belal's right eye is kind of droopy from Leon's eye poke. I think his eye was kind of droopy already. I think it just made it worse, actually. But yeah, I've noticed that. So yeah, it's like, you know, can Belal kind of force Bonfim into the later rounds and take him into deep waters and test that cardio? Or, you know, does Bonfim kind of, you know, show that he can handle the pressure and the pace of a former champion and win a fight differently than he has in the past? can Belal's, you know, wrestling kind of neutralize Bonfim's explosiveness, or can Bonfim just overwhelm Belal early while he's still fresh and get him out of there? Those are the kind of questions that I think of when thinking about this fight. You know, he beat Randy Brown by TKO in the second round and got a bonus from that, so that's a second round finish. He took Stephen Wonderboy Thompson to a split decision win, but Wonderboy is one of those tough opponents that has an awkward fighting style, you know, with that karate stance and stuff, and he's just a tough guy all the way around. But Bonfim made it all 3 rounds and won a split decision, but that's, you know, you started kind of seeing him and dwindle a little bit at the end of those 3 rounds. And you know, we're fighting 5 rounds in this one, so it's a little bit different. He beat Chaos Williams in the second round by choke, rear naked choke, and he got a performance of the night bonus on that one as well. He beat Angelosa by unanimous decision. So, you know, he's gone to decision with some of these guys in 3-round fights, but like I said, this is a 5-round main event against a guy who's used to fighting 5-round fights and has a lot of experience in there doing so, and has great cardio and wrestling, and can kind of, you know, if things go his way, will neutralize that explosiveness of Bonfim, and it's going to frustrate him and wear him out. So that's why I worry about Bonfim with this fight, but I also think that he has the potential to, you know, catch Belal early and hurt him and then possibly submit him. I feel like that would be the best way for him to get the win. Do you think Alex is in his prime? Yeah, for some reason, Pereira has a different kind of prime than everybody else, and I think stopping the weight cutting to the stupid weights that he was cutting before has helped him a lot. Now I'm just curious to see how he's going to look at heavyweight, because you can definitely see the weight on him, and I wonder if that's going to slow him down at all, or if that's going to kill his cardio any, or what's going to happen with that. So it's going to be interesting to see. And at heavyweight, how much of his prime does he have left at heavyweight? Well, obviously, because he's at heavyweight, if he can perform up there the way he was performing in the other 2 divisions, I think that he's got a lot of time up there. I think he's probably got a good 3 to 5 years left. Whereas if he was at light heavyweight, or especially middleweight, he wouldn't have even half that amount of time with those kind of weight cuts. So I think with him being at heavyweight, if he can still perform at the high level he was performing at light heavyweight, and it's not going to affect him at all, and maybe even enhance his power with a little more weight behind it, he's definitely got a few more years of prime left where he can you know, continue to dominate and continue to be a champion. So I feel like he's going to be able to beat Cyril Gane, but I do have a few doubts in there, just depending on how Cyril Gane looks when he comes out. But I have a lot of faith in Pereira, and I feel like he's definitely going to get that win. To make history, to have 3 belts in 3 divisions, even though one of them will be an interim belt, it'll still be interesting to see if he can unify that belt, get the undisputed, and be the legitimate 3-division champion, and the first one at that. So should be interesting, and I'm excited to see that happen if he gets there. Anyway, as far as this fight goes, yeah, I think I kind of talked about as much as I could with that one. But it's going to be an interesting main event for sure, except if Belal just wrestles him and wears him out throughout the entire fight, it might be a little bit boring, depending on whether you like that or not. But you know, that's how the game goes, and Belal's never been the most exciting fighter, but Bonfim has the potential to make it an exciting fight, so that's what we'll hope for. All right, so that does it for the main card. Let's skim through these prelims real quick, and then we'll hit these fight wheel predictions along with my predictions, and then we'll get out of here. So hold on, let me find my notes, because I don't know what I just did with there we go. Yeah, so starting off, we got a few women's fights in the bottom of the prelims here, starting off with Ketlin Souza versus Ariane Carnelosi. Souza is 16-6 overall, 15-4 for Carnelosi, and you know, both these girls are pretty aggressive. They rarely like look to try to make it an entirely, you know, decision fight, even though most of the women's fights do go to decision. These girls have the capabilities of making this you know, a striking battle, and you know, make it interesting. So Souza has pretty good finishing ability, tends to be dangerous everywhere, and Carnelossi brings a lot of pressure and toughness and the willingness to turn fights into brawls, you know. So if Souza stays technical, she has the edge here to win. But if it turns into just an all-out brawl, Carnelossi's pretty good at that, and she tends to win when the fight gets that way. But Souza's got good power as well, so it could just be an all-out, you know, battle to who gets hit first. What do you think the main card post? What do you rate the main card post breakdown? I'll give it a solid 6.5. I don't think it's the best main card in the world, but it's got a lot of potential and some decent fights in there. So I would say I'll give it a 6.8. I would say 7, but you know, it's lacking a little bit here and there. It's got the possibility for a couple of those fights to be boring. So I'll give it a 6.8. So not to make it too much of a round number, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I would lean towards a 7 if I didn't think that Mitchell and Belal might make the fight's a bit boring. It has possibilities for that. So anyway, as far as this one, Souza versus Carnelossi, Souza has the advantage, minus 255 favorite over Carnelossi, who's a plus 210 underdog, and that leads us straight into another women's battle. Undefeated record for Gisela Chavez at 7-0 versus Eunice Dubin, who's 6-1. Did you bump that new Drake? I haven't heard all of it yet, but I've heard a couple songs. I'm not that impressed with it, to be honest with you. There's one song that sticks in my head, the Shebang song, because that's what everybody's been playing. I mean, that one's a little catchy, but I feel like depending on the amount of play that it gets, or where, as much as you hear it, is how much it catches on, you know what I'm saying? So he does have catchy music in certain instances. There's been a lot of Drake songs that I didn't like in the beginning, but then caught on for me and wound up being favorites of mine. So that's just kind of how Drake never bangs for me right away. It's always one of those it slow rolls for me. I got to hear some of the songs a few times. I've definitely not heard all three albums. I've only heard a few songs here and there, and I'm not even sure I mean, mostly Iceman, I think. But yeah, I got to make it a point to listen to more of it. I just haven't heard, you know, rave reviews. So listen to Whisper My Name. Okay, for sure. I'll definitely take suggestions, because yeah, if I can skip to a few, I usually listen to some music before I get in on the lives during the stream nights. So I got to remember to throw that on next time, and I'll listen to that if I don't get to it before then. So anyway, we got Gisela Chavez versus Eunice Dubin. 7-0 for Chavez, 6-1 for Dubin. A couple of decent prospects here in the flyweight division. Chavez is, you know, undefeated, like I said, and she's looking to continue with that undefeated record in this fight. She is making her UFC debut after being on the Contender Series, where she won a split decision. She got a split decision win in the Contender Series. And Dubin is 0-1 in the UFC. She lost to Carly Judice by TKO, by head kick. So that's a tough one for her. Souza has 8 wins by KO, TKO, and 2 wins by sub and 6 wins by decision. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Souza. What am I talking about? Chavez. I clicked on the wrong one. Chavez has most of her wins by TKO. Actually, she's tied 3-0 by TKO, 3-0 by decision, no wins by submission. Which for Carnelossi, that's I'm sorry, for Dubin. I keep going back to the last one. For Dubin, she got TKO'd in her last fight, so that could be trouble for her. But yeah, moving on, we got Jordan Levitt versus Joanderson Brito. Oh shit, what did I do here? I'm clicking things in other screens. Also, his old stuff is genuinely great, like Taker. Yeah, I like a lot of his old stuff for sure. Listen to From Time Nothing Was the Same. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, Jordan Levitt versus Joanderson Brito. Jordan Levitt, as we know, just kind of a a little bit of a unique type fighter, but You know, he's a really good grappler. He's creative with that submission game. Brito first round finish. Yeah, probably. But yeah, Brito he's definitely one of those guys that comes in fast and you know, chaotically, basically. He's got a furious pace, and he's got finishing ability. So I see Jordan Levitt getting overwhelmed. So that's a good call there, Tua. That's a lot of WMMA. Yeah. So if you're not into WMMA, maybe skip the prelims. But this fight might be good. You might see a quick finish for this one. Brito just is wild and crazy, and he'll throw everything at you. So this could be an exciting one. Brito's 18-5, Levitt's 13-8. Brito is 7-1 by TKO, KO TKO, 8-1 by sub, and 3-3 by decision. He's 6-3 in the UFC, coming off a win. And Jordan Levitt is 6-3 in the UFC. He's on a 2-fight win streak with wins over Kurt Holloway, where he got a performance of the night bonus by submission in the first round, and then he beat Yair Delvelli by unanimous decision. Before that, he lost to Chase Hooper by sub. So yeah, this is an interesting fight for sure. Next up, we got another women's fight: Priscilla Cachoeira versus Chelsea Chandler. Cachoeira's 13-8 overall, and Chelsea Chandler's 6-4. Cachoeira is 5-8 in the UFC. She's on a 2-fight losing streak with a TKO loss to Jocelyn Edwards in the first round, and then a decision loss to Claudia Segula in her last fight. Her last win was by TKO over Jose Nunez, where she got a performance of the night bonus. It was a first round finish there. But before that win, she also had another two losses in a row, both by submission, both in the third round. So she's been on 2 losses, a win, and 2 losses. Technically, if she goes by that pattern, she could win. She should be winning this one. Chelsea Chandler is that. I do not like this girl. I hate her fighting style. She's the one that ran away from who was it? Norma Dumont. She fully turned her back and sprinted, running away from her, which was absolutely insane. But she's on a 2-fight losing streak. She lost to Jocelyn Edwards as well by TKO in her last fight, and then she beat Yana Santos by decision. In her last 4 fights, she's 1-3. So they both have had a lot of losses recently. But I feel like Cachoeira is going to be able to catch, well, maybe not if Chandler runs again, but Cachoeira should be able to catch her and finish her. So we'll see how that goes. And then the last 3 fights, we got Bruno Silva versus Edgar Chairez. That has potential to be a good fight. 15-8 for Silva, 13-6 for Chairez, happening in the flyweight division. Silva is 5-5 in the UFC, coming off a loss to Charles Johnson by split decision. He's 1-3 in his last 4. His win was a submission win over Hyun Sung Park by rear naked choke. Edgar Chairez is 3-2 in the UFC. He's on a 2-fight win streak. One of those was a submission win in the first round over CJ Vergara with a performance of the night bonus, and then Felipe Bunez by decision. He lost to his last loss was to Joshua Van, who is the current champion, by unanimous decision. So I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards Chairez in this one. So Silva's on a 2-fight losing streak, and yeah, he's going to be fighting hard to get out of that losing streak, but Chairez is on that 2-fight win streak, and I think I have a little more faith in Chairez over Silva. So yeah, we'll see about it, Tua. Next up, we got Marcus McGee coming back, fighting John Yanez. McGee's 10-2, Yanez is 10-4. McGee is 4-1 in the UFC, coming off a loss to Piotr Yan. Tough opponent, obviously, current champion. Before that, he was on a hell of a win streak, 6-fight win streak with 4 TKO wins, a submission win, and a decision win, and 3 out of those 6 were bonuses as well. So he was on a great win streak after losing to Rafael Nascimento. by submission. He went on that 6-fight win streak with 3 bonuses mixed in, and then his last fight was a loss to Petr Yan by decision though. So John Giannis has a tough matchup here, and he's 1-1 in the UFC. He's coming off a win over Jamie Siraj by TKO in the first round, but he lost to Austin Bashi before that, his first fight in the UFC, by submission in the first round. So he's got his hands full with McGee here. I think this one might be leaning towards McGee. He's the minus 550 favorite over Giannis, who's a plus 400 underdog. By the way, Bruno Silva is the favorite. Tua by minus 135. Chairez is the plus 115 underdog. I mean, it's damn near even. So yeah, it's okay to be not sure on that one, because the odds are even pretty close. How do you feel about that? Do you consider that cowardly on Survival Instinct? Oh, on the running away? Yeah, dude, that shit was ridiculous. It was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Sorry I missed that, but yeah, I know you're talking about Chelsea Chandler with the running away. I get running away if like you have something in your eye or something, you're just trying to give yourself a little bit of time, but she literally ran away as if she was looking for a way out of that fight. It was insane. So yeah, I do count that as cowardly for sure. Anyway, match now versus Alessandro Costa. The running away ain't too crazy. She had to reset. She didn't have, nothing happened to her. She got swung on a couple times, and she ran away as if she just didn't know she was in a fight. Turning your back and running at full sprint to the opposite side of the cage is not creating distance. That's running away. But then again, Tua, I know how you are, so you're probably just baiting me. It's all good. She didn't climb out of the cage. She looked like she wanted to, though. But that would have been fucking funny. Our last fight in the prelims, Matt Schnell versus Alessandro Costa. Schnell is 17-10. That's a crazy ass record. A lot of fights for Schnell. 15-5 for Costa. Matt Schnell is 7-8 in the UFC. That's tough. He's coming off a loss to Joseph Morales. He is 1-3 in his last 4 fights. His last win was over Jimmy Flick by unanimous decision. 1-5. No, 1-4 in his last 5, I should say, because he does have another loss down there. He had 3 losses in a row. TKO to Mateus Nicolau. TKO to Steve Ursay, submission to Cody Durden. Then he came back and beat Jimmy Flick by decision, and then lost to Joseph Morales by submission. So a tough go for match now as of late. Let's take a look at Alessandro Costa, who is 3-3 in the UFC, coming off a win over Stuart Nickel by TKO in the first round, or in the second round with a performance of the night bonus. Alden Correa beat him by TKO in the third round. Before that, he's been on a win-loss type streak. He also fought Jimmy Flick and won by TKO. He's had 3 bonuses in his last 6 fights as well. So, but it's been pretty mixed up between wins and losses. So yeah, this one is an interesting matchup for the featured prelim, and we got Matt Schnell as the plus 350 underdog. Costa is a minus 550 favorite. That's insane. So big favorites there for the last 2 fights of the prelims. And yeah, should make for some interesting fights. Let's get to these fight wheel predictions. That means if she was in her house and they were scrambling in the living room, she could have her way with her. Probably. Unless she found her way out the door, and then she would just be running for her damn life. That's when that instinct is a good one. Hey, what's up, Christian? How you doing? Welcome in, bro. I'm about to give my picks and do the fight wheel predictions. I don't know. I'm not too confident on my picks. I won last time 3-2 over the fight wheel predictions that are totally random. The fight wheel predictions were 1-4. I had 3-2. So I think so far I've been winning over the fight wheel predictions. So the randomized predictions have not done so well as opposed to my actual picks. But this week I've got Gabriel Bonfim beating the former champ Belal Muhammad. I got Brendan Allen beating Edmund Shabazian. I've got Zaim beating Tom Nolan. I got Bryce Mitchell beating Santiago Luna. And then I got Iwo Baranowski beating Junior Tafa. Initially, I picked Santiago Luna to beat Mitchell, but I feel like Mitchell's going to find a way to get this win and hand Luna his first loss of his career. So, yeah, I mean, I could be wrong on that one. I'm not too confident about that one, but we'll see. Unfortunately, I picked all the favorites. I didn't even realize that till just now. Solid picks. I 2 parlays and swap the Luna picks to be safe. Makes sense. Yeah, I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna start betting again, but I decided to start doing my own picks to see how they do against the Fight Wheel picks, to kind of try to get me back on that road of possibly betting. If I start doing well on the picks, then maybe it'll help me do better on the picks. And yeah, we'll see if I get back into betting. But I figure at least we'll have something to go, to contrast here between the Fight Wheel predictions, since they are totally random. You know what I'm saying? Because I just kind of spin this wheel and see what it says. And you can do what you want with it. If you want to bet on any of these picks, go for it. If you don't, no big deal. If you do bet on it and you win, good for you. I'm happy. If you lose, please don't blame me. It's up to you to decide to pick by my judgment or not. And I'd probably listen to somebody like Christian more than me on how to use these picks, because he's definitely way better than I am. So let's get to these Fight Wheel predictions so we can wrap this up. UFC Vegas 118, Belal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim, and we got our first Fight Wheel prediction: Tom Nolan to beat Zaim. So already the Fight Wheel going against me, and that's fine. It makes it interesting. Let me put that one in here. All right, next up, we got 5 total fights in this one. Iwo Baranowski to beat Junior Tafa. So we're gonna, hey, thank you, all is good. Appreciate you for jumping in and interacting as always. Thanks for coming back too. We both agree on Iwo, so that's the Fight Wheel prediction there, to beat Junior Tafa. But you never know, man. Junior Tafa's a wild man, so he could come out and surprise us all. But so far, Chipper Jones, man, hell yeah.
What's happening with you, man?
Hey, thank you too. I appreciate you as well, man. Santiago Luna to beat Bryce Mitchell. And again, like I said earlier, I actually initially picked Luna to beat Mitchell, but something told me to, oh, there we go. Something told me to change that. So let's see if I regret it or not. It's kind of interesting that the Fight Wheel predicts against me on one that I'm not sure about. So, but that's okay. So it makes it interesting, like I said. Let me get rid of Bryce Mitchell's name. All right, 2 more fights left for UFC Vegas 118 happening on Saturday. Oh shit, Gabriel Bonfim, we agree on the main event. Bonfim to beat Belal Muhammad. The Fight Wheel predicts randomly, and that was my pick as well. Let me see, what are you saying? Great show, E. I know you will catch the Rogan podcast with D-Rod. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the podcast and his crazy experience. I'm looking forward to his fight in Serbia. Hell yeah, man. Appreciate that, 78 Northwest. I appreciate you for always jumping in and interacting and supporting. Let's get to this last pick, and then we'll wrap it up. And I'll definitely listen to that podcast for sure. Okay, Brendan Allen to beat Edmund Shabazian. That's what I picked as well. So we don't have too many different picks, but a couple. So we'll see who comes out on top with these picks for UFC Vegas 118. So we're both hold on. We're both picking Bonfim to win that main event. We're both picking Allen to beat Shabazian in the co-main. I picked Zaim to beat Tom Nolan in the third fight. The Fight Wheel predicted Nolan. I picked Bryce Mitchell to beat Luna. The Fight Wheel predicted Luna, and we both predict Iwo Baranowski to get the win in that first fight of the night on the main card. Also, how did you feel about Daniel getting locked up? he was lucky, man, but I think it's bullshit. And you know, that's why it's tough going to Mexico, man. I don't take any chances when I go to Mexico, and it's gonna be a while before I go back. As much as I love going, to the beach and hanging out there and all the culture and all that stuff, shit's too crazy over there right now, man. I've heard too many crazy things, and it's gonna be a while before I go back there. But I think it's complete bullshit. But that government, that the police, the justice system over there, everything is corrupt over there. And the fact that he couldn't even pay his way to get out of there, when that's usually how you get out of things when you go over there, because believe me, I know, because we've been pulled over and stuff like that before there. You have to be super careful. And yeah, I don't like having that much anxiety and shit, so I don't like going over there that often. But we've been there a few times, and it's been good experiences for the most part. But yeah, with all the craziness going on out there, yeah, I'm definitely not going back anytime soon. But as far as him, he definitely got lucky, and I'm glad that his you know, as much as it sucks to be put in jail, I'm glad that his experience wasn't as bad as it could have been. So yeah, that does it for me, man. That wraps it up. Decent amount of time on the show today, just because we had a lot to talk about, but it was fun, man. I appreciate all you guys for the support as usual. Thank you guys for always hanging in there with me. Have you ever encountered an English speaking person there? Yeah, definitely. A lot of them. There's a lot of people. It's a big mix, and even if they don't seem that they speak English, you have to be careful, because they'll start talking English to you if you say something stupid. And yeah, but they also, most of them, if they hear you talk, like they hear me talk, they see me and they think I speak Spanish. They hear me talk, they don't think I speak Spanish anymore, but I understand it. So yeah, it's one of those things on both sides where you got to kind of be careful no matter what. But yeah, it's a little bit crazy out there, but for the most part, you can go out there, have a good time, and enjoy yourself, but also you have to be super careful. So but yeah, I appreciate all you guys for the support. Please make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that before you leave as well, if you don't mind. It all helps the channel, and it all helps me, so I appreciate it. I do this all for fun, but I do want to see the channel grow and, you know, keep doing this. So thanks again for joining me. Please come back on Sunday for the recap of UFC Vegas 118 and any other news and stuff coming out of combat sports. Would they like be on the street or just shop owners? A mixture of both. Yeah, it's different everywhere you go out there. It could be different from one spot to the next. It's all kind of weird. That's why I get a little anxious out there, but you know. Anyway, yeah, that's it for me. Come back for the recap on Sunday. Make sure you hit that like button, and thanks for all the support and interactions. Appreciate you guys. That's it for me. I'm out here. Take it easy. Peace.